It's not legal. It's a Schedule 1. Meaning right now today, the opinion of the Department of Justice is it has no legitimate medical use.
Welcome to PricePlow.
What's up, PricePlow Nation? I'm here with Bruce Kneller, and we've been hanging out all day. He made a big announcement this morning, so you can check out that video. Yes, and so we're talking about everything under the sun. And so for those of you chiming in who aren't familiar with our channel, PricePlow is a supplement reviews channel, and PricePlow is a supplement price comparison site. But today we're going to talk about, in this video, CBD oil, because I know it's a hot thing. Big question is whether or not this is a dietary supplement ingredient, and there's going to be a lot of people out there watching this for various reasons. But Bruce is a supplement formulator, and he goes down the rabbit hole deep on a lot of stuff, and he's got a lot of strong opinions on this. And so what happened is our friend Tim Mariello put out a supplement. It's like a post-workout supplement with CBD oil in it, and they were like gummy frog CBD oil.
They were cool looking, I admit it.
Yeah, they did. Gummy frog CBD frogs, I forget what they're called, chill and grow or whatever, as a post-workout supplement. I'm like, Bruce, you gotta check this out. And so there was a big discussion on the Stacked Facebook page. Stacked is a supplement news site as well, and you guys kind of got going about it. And so I would love to know what your take is. What is CBD oil, and is this a dietary ingredient? What's going to happen, and would you ever, as a businessman, would you ever get into that market?
Okay, so CBD is cannabidiol. It's a constituent that's found in, and we'll say hemp and marijuana, which are, marijuana is sort of a variant of hemp. Okay, it is not a dietary ingredient. Not today, probably not ever. It's a Schedule 1 controlled substance.
So Tim is risking trouble with his frogs.
It's like in the same category. I'm not saying pharmacologically, but legally as like heroin. Okay, it's a bad hit. Okay, if you're trafficking in it, you're looking at like Star Trek numbers in a federal penitentiary.
But CBD oil is being sold everywhere right now.
Well, so isn't heroin. I mean, that doesn't make it cocaine. I mean, all right, what's your point? The problem with it is, let's start first with the DEA. The government, the Department of Justice, and the DEA, which is kind of a piece of that, has already come out and said that CBD is a Schedule 1. Okay, right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the law right now, and they can come, with the battering rams and the boots and kick down your door and arrest you and take your stuff. By stuff I mean your cars, your houses, and whatnot.
There's a DEA enforcement.
Yeah, right.
Like AK-47s.
They can. Well, they don't have AK-47. They can seize your stuff. Okay. Believe me, I know very well they can seize your stuff. It's not legal. It's a Schedule 1. Meaning right now today, the opinion of the Department of Justice is it has no legitimate medical use. There are people that don't agree with that. Okay, then challenge it. Take it to court. Get somebody in Congress to write a bill and get that bill approved by the the House of Representatives and Senate, and get Donald Trump to sign off in it, and there you go.
Is that in process a little bit? It seems like it's catching a lot of steam. It seems like the hemp lobby is pushing pretty hard, and they're getting some legal decisions, and like hemp can now be grown a little bit on certain farmland.
Even before that, let's say let's say it wasn't a controlled substance, a drug, okay, and it's a drug. Period. End of discussion. So if it's a drug, it can't be a dietary ingredient. But let's say we didn't have that. Okay, no one ever, tried to sell it as a drug and made any claims about it for epilepsy, because it is being studied now extensively, for treating, refractory epilepsy in kids, or derivatives of it are. And again, as I said before, Jeff Sessions, Attorney General, doesn't like it at all. Okay, let's say none of that ever happened. It still is not a dietary ingredient because it hasn't been properly, vetted as a dietary ingredient. A new drug, an NDIN, I don't think has been filed on it. Maybe it has, but it hasn't been approved by FDA even if it has been filed. Somebody was to have filed a new drug investigation notice with the FDA, the 75-day pre-marketing thing they're required to do by law. Okay, there still isn't any FDA commentary saying, oh, okay, you can sell it at this dosage and in this form. So it's not a dietary ingredient. That said, I am keenly aware, as I'm sure you are, plenty of stuff is being sold both in stores and online that have, CBD in it as a constituent of hemp oil. I'm not trying to say that it's dangerous or bad for you, and I'm not trying to say it doesn't have legitimate uses that are helpful for people that are suffering. Quite obviously, these things do, but I'm just saying from a legal standpoint, not as an attorney, as a layman, my interpretation of it is that it's illegal. And given the current way that Jeff Sessions and his folks that work under him at the DOJ look at things, I can't see them allowing this, because even states that allow marijuana to be sold recreationally or medicinally, I mean, he's sort of intimated that he may go after them federally. So any constituent of marijuana, I think, is at high risk for the government coming in. And obviously, you know, this is going to sound a little conspiracy theorist, but obviously when someone makes a lot of money, that's when the government wants to come in, because they can take that money away. So if you had a company selling CBD oil and it was really successful, well, that's when you're probably going to see them bang the doors down and start seizing bank accounts and houses and cars and things like that, because there's, unfortunately, you know, the seizure laws in this country allow for them to do that. They get to keep that stuff and use it to reinvest it.
I think the conspiracy theory leans more against the anti-big pharma side of things. Like, hey, this is actually something natural that works. Then CBD itself cannot be patented because it's found in nature. Or
well, they can still sell it. I mean, they may not be able to patent it, okay, because it's naturally occurring. They may be able to find a non-naturally occurring homolog that they develop, which they could patent, or they could find some, you know, other way to deliver it that's, you know, they get a use patent on it, or maybe they won't patent it at all. Maybe they'll just be, we still think it's useful and the market's big enough that we'll just do it kind of like as a generic drug. But yeah, there's a lot of interest with the drug development companies with CBD and its derivatives. I mean, look, I think it's a shame. I think a lot of people, you know, want to see it used to help folks that are just, you know, can't use anything else. People with, you know, cancer, people that have, you know, eating disorders, people that have, you know, migraine headaches. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that CBD oil has, you know, we think that it might be useful for. And again, I mean, whether or not you need to go see a doctor and be treated under a physician to get that, that's, you know, who knows? And I know a lot of people would like to see it sold as a dietary supplement. You know, me included, to be honest with you. I'd love to see it as a dietary supplement. It doesn't meet the definition of one today, but if it were, I mean, it would be something that I think would be, you know, kind of a good thing for everybody involved.
Right, and so realize that Bruce is coming from the industry background, the business background, and the anti-ness of it. I know that's not a word. The anti-ness of it is really coming because you see a lot of business risk with it. And
a huge existential business risk. I mean, here's the other problem that people don't think about. So if you're dealing in marijuana or hemp-related businesses, okay, I mean, no banks will do business with you because
someone's doing business with them.
Well, they're not supposed to because
there's a lot of cash that's got to go somewhere.
Well, it's very difficult if you look at states that have, you know, laws that allow for the decriminalization of marijuana and for the use of it recreationally and medicinally. I mean, a lot of these companies that sell it, they can't take credit cards and they can't make deposits in the banks because the banks have a big risk of being, hit with, money laundering charges by the feds, and they're an easy target for, and there's lots of money in banks, obviously. So I mean, they're an easy target for the feds to go after. That's one of the problems with it. I would like to see. It would make me feel a lot better if the Trump administration would issue some kind of edict or memorandum through the DOJ saying this is what we really, really think, a little bit more clearer than it is now. And if they're really anti and they're saying it's a Schedule I and you guys can't sell it, then to do something about it. I mean, don't just say you can't do it and then not do anything about it.
Because then you have the risk takers.
Yes.
And so, yeah, does it upset you that someone like, let's just say Tim Mariello, I know you're not upset at Tim Mariello, but someone like Tim Mariello is willing to take that risk. You got a wife and kids and everything. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. He's younger. He's willing to take that risk and maybe make a lot of money. In the meantime, you're trying to obey the law and you're left in the dark. Is that upsetting because we're in this weird spot?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I don't know Tim. I'm sure he's a heck of a nice guy. He's a good guy. He's just trying to help people with a product that would be sort of useful and nice that people would like to take and help them relax and kind of wind down after they've had a hard day or a difficult session at the gym.
It's chill and grow.
Right, chill and grow. That said, he is taking a huge risk doing this, and maybe nothing will happen, or maybe something will happen. That's kind of up to him whether he's willing to accept that risk. You're right. Me personally, I'm not.
Right, okay, and so yeah, we've been talking on the business end. From the user side of it, like let's say that I had some of those gummies sent to my house, they make them safe, I take it, you know, does a user really have that much to worry about? Where is the burden? Where's the risk? The burden of risk.
Okay, so obviously my default standpoint is always obey the law. So no, don't buy the gummies. Don't
of course, right.
You know, you receive them. It's you know, a federal crime across state lines. Blah 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 blah. Okay, you paid for it with a credit card, money laundering, all that good stuff. From a non-legal but like a friend standpoint, I don't think there's probably a whole lot of risk for you buying a bag of Tim's, you know, chillaxin gummy thing, okay?
No one's going to come to DEA agents. They're going to kick your door down.
Nobody's going to kick your door down. I think the risk is more on Tim than any of the users. But you know, CBD oil is a huge industry. You can go online and see plenty of companies that are selling it. Again, this is just my personal opinion, okay? And I'm not saying I'm right or the be-all, end-all authority on this. That's why we have lawyers and courts and judges and stuff like that. I'm just saying from a layman's perspective, the way that I read it is it's definitely not a dietary ingredient. It can't be a dietary supplement. It's a Schedule I compound, which is pretty serious, and you know, on the federal level anyway, it is absolutely illegal. So until that changes or there's some clarification, you know, with that, me personally, as a business person, I'd avoid it. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. If you know, Sessions and, you know, the DOJ said, you know what, we're going to allow CBD oil to exist as a non-scheduled product. We're not going to be involved with it, you know, as a scheduled product. We're going to make an exception for it, or we're going to interpret the law differently. Go ahead, sell it. Okay, then the big thing is the FDA, do they think it's a dietary ingredient? If that happened, I would try to work that angle, because it's a huge business. There's lots of money to be made. You know, if the DEA wasn't involved in it, yeah, absolutely, I would want to be involved and try to work it and sell it and do something good with it, okay? But unfortunately, you know, it is what it is, and you know, these people are taking a risk. And again, the reason they're taking a risk is, you know, money. There's a lot of money to be made in marijuana and hemp-related products. And again, I'm not criticizing them as ineffective or even dangerous. Okay, I'm not. That's
why I keep bringing it up. Like we're hitting this from the business risk side of things,
right?
Mostly,
right. I mean,
that's why you're here,
right? I mean, I think from a user standpoint, there probably is, you know, great, effective and safe use for these things in particular dosages and used by particular people. I mean, I get it. If you're a parent and your 3-year-old kid has, you know, refractory epilepsy and has hundreds of seizures a day and nothing worked, and you gave the kid CBD oil and then the kid doesn't have seizures anymore, you're going to look at me and you're going to hate me. You're going to say, you know, what a fucking asshole you are to come out and say that we can't have this. My kid is suffering. Look, I get it. I want your kid not to suffer anymore. I really do. I'm just saying, just from a legal standpoint, from a business standpoint, it's not something that I think I or anybody I know at this moment would really want to be involved with. So I don't know even enough about, you know, how busy or how much traffic there is in CBD oil. I'm guessing from you bringing it up that it must be a pretty big.
We'll see how many views this video gets, but I'm imagining it's going to be one of the bigger ones that we have out of all this interview series here today. But
really, yeah,
I think so. That's my guess. Maybe CJ has other opinions, but either way, you know what to do. In fact, Bruce, thank you so much for coming onto the PricePlow channel.
You guys are awesome.
You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button because we have a whole bunch of other stuff. But instead, I also want you to drop the comments down at the bottom, because this one's obviously going to be quite intense. So subscribe to the channel, please comment and let us know how we're doing here, and let us know what you think about Bruce. Thanks,
guys.
Welcome to PricePlow.